SEO. Once you guys have this foundation right, you can go ahead and like do SEO for any kind of projects that you get in the future. A lot of things that people talk out there might be very specific to a certain niche, and the results that they are getting by doing a particular activity might not work for you. So it's very important that you understand the fundamentals and the way you approach any SEO projects in the best way, and then you can go ahead and like implement it for any niche or any kind of websites, e-commerce, Amazon affiliate websites, and other things. Ankit, all of these things will be emailed to you. So just drop us a mail to the support if you haven't received certain things. And it's 9:05 and let's get started. Guys, if you're excited for your first DMC call, let me know in the chat box. Type in BIO, bring it on in the chat box, and let's get started. Super excited. I like that in caps. Awesome. So what I'll be doing is I'll be going and sharing my screen, and I'll also keep the chat box open here so that I can read your comments. Cool. Are you guys seeing my screen? If yes, let me know in the chat box. Awesome, guys. Thanks for letting me know. And 1 second. Let me see if I can change this. Give me 1 minute. Cool. So let's get started and let's talk about the basics of SEO. So if you guys already know something about SEO, let me know in the chat box, apart from the full form of what SEO means. While I fix this screen sharing issue here. Give me a minute, guys. I have some trouble sharing the screen here. Are you guys still seeing my screen? If that is the case, we'll just go ahead with this format. I just want to like, okay, awesome. So how many of you guys know about SEO? Just put whatever you know in the chat box, and we'll talk about it more in the more visibility on the SERP. SEO is organic way to rank your website, art of ranking content. Yes, exactly. So SEO is one of the techniques that you can use in your digital marketing field to get in more traffic to your website. And all of this traffic is free of cost. You don't have to pay for it. Usually with any paid advertising that you're doing, in order to get traffic, you have to pay for it. But SEO is like you're building an asset going forward. So it is always going to be there, and you keep on getting constant traffic forever. And this is an asset that you're going to build, which is why today's session is going to be slightly different than what you might think it might be. It's from a different perspective, and I'll tell you what it is exactly. So what is SEO? In basic terms, it is defined as search engine optimization is the process of optimizing your content for relevance and increasing the authority by solving user queries. So if you read this entire sentence very clearly, what do you feel? What is that particular word or a phrase that has very high importance in this sentence? Can you guys let me know in the chat box? Okay, relevance, search, no. Optimizing your website, no. Nope. I'm just waiting for some more answers to drop in the chat box. Yes, Ankit gets it right. It's solving user queries, right? It is just not about optimizing your website, but it is to solve your queries. When you solve your user queries, the entire SEO game becomes much more stronger than what you can think of. And this is very nicely explained by our co-founder at Pixeltrack, who is Sanjay Shenoy. He has quoted this. He says, SEO is not a knowledge problem, it's an execution problem. Do you guys agree with this statement? Because you find tons of knowledge out there about SEO, but then if you don't implement what you're learning, right, you're never going to get results. Right? Everybody says 100%. And a very good example of this is myself, right? I started blogging 6 years back and I've learned a ton of things in SEO, but I've never executed it for myself or for my blog, which is why I haven't got very good results, but I've got some kind of results. But fortunately, once I joined Pixeltrack, it's been two and a half years that I joined Pixeltrack. I've worked on a ton of projects here, mostly SEO and content marketing projects, and we have got crazy results here. I'll go and share that screen later on some of the projects that we have worked on, right? So that's the thing. So when you go out and like consume content, most probably you're seeing some tips and tricks about SEO, and you feel that if I do go ahead and implement this in my blog, my website is going to rank straight away. But that's not the case, right? If you don't have this foundation of SEO, right, whatever you do on top of that is not going to help you. These are all like limited time results that you would be getting, and after like one Google update, your website is going to be on the second page of Google. And there's a very famous quote which says, a meme rather, which says that if you you can hide a dead body in the second page of Google. Do you know why people say that? Let me know in the chat box. Do you know why people say that you can hide a dead body in the second page of Google? Exactly, Ankit. Hardly few people visit the second page of Google. Whenever you're putting the user query, right, you just go through the first 3 or 4 links and nobody is going beyond the first page, which is why it is important for you to like approach this in a very different way so that you can stay on the first page and get ton of traffic, right? Before going into depth about what SEO is and how to do it and all of that things, the first thing that we have to understand here is how search engine works, right? It is the search engine that does most of the job here for you, which is why you need to know why and how search engine works. So I've explained this in very simple steps. These are a 3-step process. The first thing is crawling. The second thing is indexing. And the third thing is ranking. On a nutshell, this is how search engine works. Like the first one is crawling. So all your Google robots, right? These are called as Google crawlers, Google robots. What they do is they go out on the worldwide web, the internet, and find all of your websites, and they take all of your content, either it is new or either it is updated content, and they take all of these records. Second, what it does is it records all of your content. That is the first one anyways. And the second one is they understand what your content is about. What have you written? What is the context behind your content? And next, it organizes it. So if I can give you an example in another way, it's like a library. So your librarian, what he does is first he finds out an interesting book that's out in the market. He goes there, he gets the book, he reads about it, and then he puts in a shelf, right? He puts in a shelf under a particular category, right? and that's your niche. I guess you guys have already selected your niche by now. That's your niche. If you guys have selected your niche, quickly let me know what your niche is about in the chat box. Apps, e-commerce, marketing, and all of that, right? Digital marketing, educational content writer, movie blog, and all of that, right? So if I have to go to the library and I have to find a book, so I either go to the librarian and ask him that I want this book. So what does he do then? He reads the index of the book, right? He has a library book where he has written all the names of the books that he has got till now and where he has categorized, and then he knows to which shelf he has to exactly go and pick the book from, right? Does this how this work? Have you guys noticed this? Yes, this is exactly how a search engine also works. It picks up all the content from the internet, and then it goes through the content. It sees on what context the content is written, and then it tries organizing it, right? It tries categorizing it, and then based on the results and relevancy and other 200 other SEO signals, we'll talk about it later, it kind of ranks your website. So it's just not you who is going to write a piece of content on that particular topic, right? There are going to be tons of other websites who are going to write content on the same topic. But if Google has to like put you on top of the other, it's the relevancy that matters and the other 200 SEO signals that matters. So the next important thing is whatever all of these 200 SEO signals, Google doesn't define it very clearly saying that these are the 200 signals. No, it just gives you a mere idea of what it is about. But basically we can categorize this into like three important factors, right? One is the relevancy, the other one is authority, the other one is user signals. Do you guys think these three are the most important factors to rank on the search engine? Let me quickly know in the chat box. All your 200, yes, domain authority falls under authority again. All your 200 signals, right? They will mainly fall under these three main categories. No matter what they are, they have to fall under these categories. So let's see what are the two important tools that you can check all of these user behavior and all of those things. One is Google Analytics, the other one is Google Search Console. Both are from Google, so don't have trust issues with these two tools. These are the most important tools that you have to be using in order to see how your website is performing. And I guess you have already installed these two plugins in your website, right? If you have already installed this in your website, quickly let me know in the chat box. Awesome. So Google Analytics gives you an overview of where the traffic is coming from and how are the users behaving in your website and all of that, while Search Console gives you very clear statistics about the organic data that is coming in, right? Only the organic traffic. It is not going to talk about your direct traffic and all of that, which is why both of these tools are very, very important. And then let us come to what is a keyword, right? And this is the first step towards approaching your SEO project. What is a keyword, guys? Keywords are user queries, whatever the words or the phrases that users puts in the search engine, right? They go to google.com and then they put in a word or a phrase. These are called as user queries, and these are mainly called as keyword when it comes to SEO. And let's see what are the three types of keywords that you usually see, right? And these are the three types of keywords that you usually see. The first one is a one word keyword. If you can see here, one word keyword. For example, it is called as SEO here. And then there are 2 to 3 word phrases, SEO tools online. And then there are 4 word phrases, which is like most popular SEO tools online. And if you see this graph on the left-hand side, which is the y-axis, you see the competition and popularity. And on the x-axis here, you can see traffic volume and search frequency. Now, if you analyze this graph in a better way, right? Nandini is saying that it's long tail and short tail keywords. Yes, it is. So if you see the first word here, one word keywords here have very high competition and popularity, while very high competition and popularity, as well as if you see the traffic volume at the bottom right, it is very high. So it's in red, and then you have 2 to 3 word phrases which has medium to medium popularity and competition, and then it has got enough volume. And then you have 4+ word phrases like most popular SEO tools online. This has got very less volume, but then it has got very less competition as well. Right. So for an example here, I've just picked up the search volume, exact search volume from Ahrefs. If you can see, the term SEO here has 134K volume, and then SEO tools has 31K volume, and then popular SEO tools online has got just 10 volume. Right. What do you think out of all these 3 keywords, what do you think has a very good user intent behind it? Does SEO make sense when somebody types in SEO in the Google search, right? Does it make sense what exactly they're looking for in SEO, or the one that has like 4 words which says popular SEO tools online? Which one of these has high user intent? The one with 4 words, right? Exactly. And now we'll understand it further. There is something called as the search commercial intent funnel, and it is called search commercial intent funnel because it is just restricted to search engines here, and it is not how funnels work in general. So if you see here, the top of the funnel, right, which says informational and navigational kind of keywords, it says the search volume is up to 80 to 90%, while the competition is very low. And then you have a set of keywords which falls under research and discovery. This has enough volume and has medium competition. And then you have this purchase or transactional intent keywords, which have very less volume, say 1 to 5%, but the competition is super high. So let me tell you, so let me ask you a question. When you're approaching your SEO projects and say you're building your blog from scratch, what kind of keywords should you target first? Should you target the ones that are at the bottom, which is purchase intent, or should you start from informational and navigational kind of keywords? Ajay Kumar says bottom. Absolutely wrong. Puneet says informational. Jayan says informational. Exactly. So this purchase has very less volume, but it has very high competition. So people have already written content on all of these kind of keywords, and they're already ranking for it. They've built that authority over time. When you're starting from scratch, never go into the purchase kind of keywords at all. You will not rank. The idea behind this approach is that you first target informational kind of keywords, start ranking for it, get in enough traffic. Even though the volume is like 2000 or 3000 per month, it is still okay. Start ranking for it. Once you start ranking for it, you automatically know that you have built authority, right? Your website has built authority right now. Then you move into the second stage where you talk about research and discovery, and then start ranking for it. Then you go to the purchase stage. Only if you do this, you can like rank for the purchase intent keywords, and that is where the money lies. If you directly go behind the purchase intent keywords, you're never going to like succeed. Authority and popularity go hand in hand. Yes, Ushma. Yes, you're right. Authority and popularity go hand in hand. So let's see what these kind of keywords are exactly with some examples. So the first one right here, informational. So these kind of keywords will have what, why, and how in it, right? So what is an electric cooker, or how does an electric cooker work, or why buy an electric cooker? All of these are informational in nature. The person who is typing in this user query wants to know more about a product, in fact, but a category of product. He's not looking for anything very specific here, or is not looking for a brand keyword. He's just looking on how these things work, right? It is informational in nature. Do you guys agree? Can you guys give me some of the examples for informational kind of keywords in the chat box? Karthik is saying, should we rank for long tail or short tail keywords? First, you should rank for long tail keywords, and then you should go behind short tail keywords. So Jayant is saying how to clean an electric cooker. What are the movies to watch now? Why detox is important. Benefits of seeds. What is WordPress? How to reduce? Exactly. These are the exact kind of keywords that you should be targeting when you start a new blog, right? Once you start ranking for all of this, you would have built that authority for Google to say that, no, my website is good enough so that I can also rank the other keywords for the websites that are already ranking for, right? Let's see the second set of keywords. The second set of keywords falls under this category, which is research and discovery. Here, it's more about the person has got to know, okay, this is the solution to my problem. So he has got to know that. Now he wants to look at the specific products which can solve this problem for him, right? So he goes on to type in best electric cookers, and then he finds out that Panasonic or Pigeon or whatever the company is good at making this product. And then what he does is he looks for a review of that particular product, right? He does more research on that particular product, which is like review based or comparison reviews, right? He goes for Panasonic versus Pigeon electric cooker. This is the second stage of his research. You need to understand his users customer journey in this particular way. Only then you will be able to rank. All the other things that you're doing is only for short term. If you follow this method, right, your website is going to stay there for a longer time. And do you guys agree with this? Let me know in the chat box. Cool. I hope this is making sense to you. If not, you guys can ask me the questions in the chat box. And the last set of keywords that fall under the purchase category, right? Here he has already got to know the solution to his problems. Now he has understood what kind of products are already out there which solves these problems, or what are the brands that has products or services which can solve this problem. Now his intent is to go ahead and make a transaction. Now he's in the purchase stage where he types in keywords like buy electric cooker online, or he wants to find out a coupon so that he can reduce his cart value. So he goes ahead and searches for all of these keywords, which are transactional keywords. And this is where you make money, right? For example, in this case, if your website was about electrical cooker or any kitchen appliances for that matter, and is an Amazon website, right? If you directly target for buy electric cooker online, you're never going to rank. First, you start with giving them information or solving their problems on why should you like use an electric cooker? What is the uses of it? What are the cons of it? And then you talk about the products that are great doing this job for job solving the problem. And then you talk about the purchase kind of keywords. So Ushma is asking, so when setting keywords, one should follow all these three factors of the funnel. Exactly, Ushma, I'm sorry. So if you're building a new blog, right, this is how you have to approach the SEO keywords. You have to start with informational, then go behind research and discovery, and then go behind purchase keywords. Because if you go directly at the end of the funnel here, which is purchase keywords, right, the competition is very high. If you're starting a new blog, your authority is going to be zero. The domain rating or the domain authority, whatever you call DA and DR, whatever it is going to be zero. Google is not going to put you on top of the other websites which are already ranking. So what you do is you write articles on the contents that has not been written by these guys, or if it has been written also, they would have not written it in depth, right? That is how you should be approaching it. And what to target first, right? Exactly like I said before, informational first, because it has got high volume and less competition. And then you go behind research and discovery, and then you go to purchase. Does this make sense, guys? Let me know in the chat box. I'll talk about it, Ankit. Right. Samika is absolutely right there. Yes, I will share this PPT along with the recording and everything. You will be getting it on mail. So the next thing is how to do keyword research, right? Once you understand all of these things, the next part is to go ahead and do keyword research itself. So there are 4 steps to this. I've broken it down so that you can understand this in a very easy way. The easiest way to do keyword research is approach it right like this. The first one is brainstorm a list of topic ideas. Don't go behind any keywords for now. Don't don't go and search on how much volume it has or what is the competition and all of that. On a natural tendency, just go ahead and write a list of topics that you want to write about in your niche. If it is digital marketing, why digital marketing, how to do digital marketing for tourism sector and all of that. Make a list of these topics, and then the next step for you to go ahead and do is you pick up a seed keyword out of all of these topics which has very good volume but doesn't have any intent. Right from here you go and find out which is that one particular keyword that you can choose as your primary keyword for your content. The keyword that you want to target on your content, which has enough volume and has less competition, right? And then from there, you go ahead and find secondary and LSI keywords and then segregate them. Yes, we'll talk about seed keyword in detail, Ushma. Let me go ahead and yes, Arvind, you'll be getting everything. In case you don't get it, just email us on support@pixeltrack.com and then we'll get it sorted for you. All right. So what I'll go ahead and do is now I'll go ahead and share my screen again and let's see how we can do keyword research. Can you see my screen, guys? I'm on a screen which says Google. Yes, awesome. So before I go ahead and do keyword research, right, I just want to show you one of the case studies that we did for one of the blogs 1.5 years back, close to 2 years back. It was a brand new blog that we set up from scratch. It's in the lifestyle industries. These guys are into all offline stores, which does nail spa and all of that, your nail filing or whatever you call it. So we started a fresh blog here. And if you check this blog, we have mostly covered informational kind of content. We have not gone behind any kind of purchase related keywords. And this blog was built from scratch. And in 6 months, we were able to get close to 5 to 6K of organic traffic. And at a point, it hit 24K organic traffic, right? I'll show you the stats in a while. So if you check all of these blog articles, right, they all talk about solving a problem. They say nail health problems, and then top 10 vitamins for nails and nutrients to avoid, fingernail splitting and all of that, hair color for Indian skin, how to remove tan, how to get glowing skin. Obviously, these kind of content is not going to give you any kind of money because people are not transacting here. The idea here is to build your set of audience and then go to the middle of the funnel where you can like convince them that you are the best in the industry, and then the bottom of the funnel where you tell them to transact with you and come to your offline store and get your nails done or whatever other services that they're providing, right? And if you see here, I've opened this in Ahrefs, which is a good keyword research tool, also a very good competitor tool. If you can see here, the organic traffic right now is 16.3K. And if I go here to organic search, if you can see, we started this in the month of April 2019. We started it from scratch. If you can see here, there's literally like zero traffic coming in here. And then it started ranking. And then at a particular point of time, if you can see 7th May 2020 is where it got 25,000 visitors a day. Is this mind blowing, guys? Just let me know in the chat box if this is impress you. Right? We took the exact approach that I told you right now. We didn't go behind purchase related keywords. We didn't go behind research and discovering related keywords for now. But then this blog is already getting 25K visitors every day. Now think about it. Once you have this 25K visitors, right, you can do anything with it. You can go ahead and build an email list, or you can send out an email and tell them, go ahead and like go to my offline store, or you can just give them a coupon code saying that, see, since you're there in my email list, I'm giving you a 20% off in my offline store. And they're definitely going to transact with you because they've built the trust. They have seen your blogs repetitively. They've got so much value out of this, and now they're going to transact with you, right? This is one of the blogs that we had written. And then we have also written a quite good number of content for your story as well. So this is one of the blogs which is getting about 4,000 and odd traffic per day, where we wrote about Flipkart seller. So now that I've said that, you have to go ahead and make a list of topics, right? Let's say I'm in the digital marketing. My blog is about digital marketing itself. And then I want to cover a topic which says top 10 payment gateways in India. I want to list out top 10 payment gateways in India. So what do I do? The first thing is you list out a set of topics. Now we have done it. Now we have already done it, and I've picked up one out of them and say top 10 payment gateways in India. So if you go ahead and put this in your keyword research tool, right? There's a free keyword research tool from Ahrefs also. Karthik is asking, would that be your keyword research? So Keywords Explorer is the keyword research tool for Ahrefs, but you also have a free version of it. It's called, you just go to Google and type Ahrefs keyword generator. It is called as keyword generator, but if you're already logged in, it will take you back into Keyword Explorer, because I'm already logged in. Otherwise, keyword generator, this first one here, is a free tool from Ahrefs itself. It doesn't give you as many suggestions as the paid tool would give, but then there is a workaround for it, which I'll be talking about right now. What I'll do is I'll go to Keyword Explorer here, and I'll just type in top 10 payment gateways in India. Can you guess how much volume this particular keyword might have? Just quickly let me know in the chat box before I hit on the search icon here. 1,000. Okay. 5K, lakhs, more than 1 lakh. Wow, I see a lot of big numbers in the chat box, but I'll show you how much it has. It has only 300 volume, guys, literally 300 volume, because it is a very long tail keyword. If you see, there are like 6 words in this particular phrase, which is why the volume is so less. If you can go back and recall the presentation I have given, the longer the words are, or the more number of words are in a particular keyword, the lesser is going to be the volume, right? So if you see this, so this doesn't give you enough suggestions. So if I go down, it has to give me more suggestions in order to build my entire keyword list, and then segregate it into secondary and LSI and all of that. But this isn't giving me enough search volume and enough suggestions. So what do you think is the problem here? What do you think I'm doing wrong here, so that Ahrefs isn't giving me enough suggestions? Quickly let me know in the chat box. Can't find alternative queries, but why can't it find alternative queries is my question. No, Karthik is right here. He says it is a very long tail keyword. For any keyword research tool to kind of give you more suggestions, right? It is always going to add one more word to your primary seed keyword, and then it is going to give you suggestions, right? In this case, there are already 6 words in the search query that I'm putting in. It cannot add in one more word, that will become 7 words, and then it cannot give you enough suggestions. So what you should always be doing is, whenever you're doing keyword research, right, cut down on the number of words that you're putting in the keyword research tool. Let's say payment gateways. Somebody asked me what is a seed keyword. This exact is the seed keyword for this particular example, right? My whole topic is top 10 payment gateways in India. But then if I put this query in the keyword research tool, it doesn't give me enough suggestions. Tools always add in one more word, and then it says this particular keyword has this much volume. So for it to give enough suggestions, what you should be doing is you should be picking up the most important word from your topic, which is payment gateways in this case. And then I will just go ahead and search for this. right? Now you see it has got 1.9K volume. And then if you go below here, see it keeps on adding one word each for your seed keyword, and then it gives you suggestions, right? Give it a minute to load. Can you guys see all of these keywords here in the screen? It has added one or two more words in order to give you more suggestions. That's how keyword research tools work. So payment gateways was my seed keyword, but what happens is here it has more volume, and then it has more global, and then this particular keyword from my research, from my manual research, says that it doesn't have enough intent. Payment gateways can be from anywhere, right? What if I go ahead and add payment gateways in India as my primary keyword? Will that increase the user intent? Will that make more sense than payment gateways itself? Right. Everybody's saying yes in the chat box, which is why I'll go ahead and select payment gateways in India as my primary keyword, and then make a list of all of these keywords which has enough volume, and see the competition, right? See the competition for this keyword. What is KD? KD is keyword difficulty. So this is given by Ahrefs and is not given by Google. So this is how Ahrefs understands keywords. It feels that payment gateways is highly competitive, which is why it is giving a higher score of 69. And then all of these keywords, right, as is giving you a less KD. So what if I go ahead and select top 10 payment gateways? Will this be more appropriate in this example? It has 600 volume, it has 3 KD. And is it easy to rank from payment gateways in India keyword? Even though payment gateways in India keyword has 1200 volume, it has 69 KD. It has a very high competition, right? In this case, you do not want to go beyond competition. You want to see what is the most easiest keyword that you can target. And once you rank for this particular keyword, which is top 10 payment gateways, right? Over time, your website will build that authority, and then over time, this particular keyword also will rank automatically. You don't even have to target this keyword, which is payment gateways in India. By the time you rank for this particular keyword and give it some time, automatically this particular keyword will rank. Which is why you shouldn't go beyond impressing the search engine. You should go behind impressing users, right? The users are the ones who are going to send all of these user signals to Google saying that, oh, I'm enjoying my content in this page. When your number of minutes of sessions, right? If the user is spending good amount of time in your web page, it kind of sends a signal to Google saying that, okay, people are going through the entire content. If they're going through the entire content, they should be loving the content. Does that make sense? Exactly, Jayant. At the end of the day, you should be impressing the users and not the search engines, which is why I always say that do not go behind all of these small tips and tricks which you see out there. These are all very temporary in nature. If you follow this framework, right, and this framework has worked for us. We have gotten like 24K traffic for this blog, which we have done it from scratch. Right? That is how you have to approach this. Next, what you do is go ahead and make a list of all your keywords and put it in a Google Sheet. And in the coming sessions, I'll tell you how you can segregate them into secondary keywords and LSI keywords, and then how you can write content using these keywords. And then we'll optimize it for SEO, right? There is something called as on-page optimization. There's something called as off-page optimization and all of that. And then you have to build some backlinks to increase your authority and all of that. And then we'll see how you can do it. LSI is latent semantic indexing, which means they're kind of synonyms. I wouldn't say synonyms all the time, but they're the kind of keywords which increases the context of your content. For example, I'll give you an example here. So say I'm writing about how to prepare cold coffee, right? Or cold coffee recipe, in fact. So here, if I start including keywords like a coffee filter, coffee beans, water, ice, and all of this, does it increase the context of my content here? So somebody who is searching for how to prepare cold coffee using coffee filter, will my website rank if I add all of these keywords in between my content? Does it make sense? Right? Google understands that you have included all of these keywords and all of that. So it means that it has got a better context of your article. It understands your content better, which is why whenever a user types in a different query than your primary keyword, it is still going to show your results. It is still going to show your website as a result. Yes, Nazim, you're going to get the recording of this session. Let me know if you've not got any part of what I've been teaching right now. I'll be more than happy to repeat it. All right, Jayant is saying weight loss and fat loss almost mean the same. Exactly, which is why even if you're targeting your primary keyword as weight loss, you can still include fat loss and all of these as LSI keywords. That kind of gives Google an idea on what your content is about, right? So even if somebody goes out and types in fat loss, your website is still going to rank. Does that make sense? Samika, just like Jayant said, right? It is mostly going to be synonyms. If not synonyms, these are the words that is going to give your content more context. How to include keywords in the website we'll be talking about in the future sessions. This is going to be like a series of sessions under SEO and content marketing. And in the future, I'll also tell you how you can like create a kick-ass presentation for your client if you're going to give them SEO services or content marketing services and all of that. Right? If I go beyond teaching everything in this session, it will become overwhelming for a lot of few people. So it is good to understand the fundamentals of how to approach SEO here. And then you will also have a session from Deepak on SEO that will give you a different angle to it. So build your foundation right. And in the next sessions, we will go ahead and like talk about secondary keywords, LSI keywords, and how you have to segregate them and where do you use these keywords in your blog and all of that. And a very important thing in SEO is that you have to keep creating content. If you see this here, this is when we let go of the client because he was bothering us too much. So if you see the peak here has hit about 26K per day. And after that, we stopped creating content for them, which is why the traffic is dropping here, if you can see. Which is why it is important to become consistent. Doesn't matter if you're publishing one blog in a month or 4 blogs in a month or whatever it is, but keep that consistency game on. After writing 4 articles, don't write 4 articles in a month and then sit idle. You have to keep writing content in order for the SEO to work. Nazim, I'll be giving you some checklist in the future sessions on how you can optimize your keywords for on-page SEO and all of that. That will have checklist, but these are just the theoretical part that you have to like understand. So you'll have the recording of the session, go through it once again, make notes and understand it from the user's perspective, right? How are they going to consume your content? How you can deliver solutions to them via written content. Right, Karthik, you have to focus on informative keywords first, build authority there, rank for them there, and then go below it. We'll talk about backlinks in the next sessions. So Tanima is saying how to do keyword research. Once again, cool, Tanima. The first thing that you have to do here is brainstorm a list of topics that you want to write about. Okay. Say your niche You have selected this niche because you have some kind of knowledge in it or you're passionate about it, right? So you will obviously have a few topics in your head before even going out and researching, right? So in my case, what I was telling is, for an example, I'm writing, my blog is about digital marketing and I want to write about 10 payment gateways which are helpful for digital marketers. So top 10 payment gateways in India was my entire topic. But what happens is if I go ahead and put this entire topic into keyword research tool, it is not going to give me more suggestions because there are more number of words in it. So what I do is I find out the very important word in it, very important word from the entire phrase. In my case, it is payment gateways and we call it as seed keyword in SEO terms. So I take this payment gateways and put it into a keyword research tool. And then I see what are the kinds of suggestions the keyword research tool is throwing to me, right? Out of that, I pick the one which has enough volume, but has very little competition, right? There's another way that you can do competitive research. So say payment gateways in India is my keyword. What I go ahead and do is I put in payment gateways in Google, payment gateways in India, and then I wrap it around in quotes, right? I put quotes before and after my keyword, and then I hit on enter. What now happens is, can you see this results number here? It says about 20,300 results, which means that 20,300 pages have written about this particular keyword. So what you can do next is just type in title here and then put a colon and keep the quotes as well as the primary keyword as it is and hit on enter. Right now you can see, has the number decreased here from 20,000 to 811? Can you guys see the screen? Let me know in the chat box real quick. Right, what this means is, in title, this payment gateways in India has been used in the title of the page. So most of this web results, right, most of these websites who have written about payment gateways in India, they have used this payment gateways in India term in their title. So which is why it is saying 811 people have 11 pages have written about this. What you go ahead and do next is you type in URL and put a colon and put in quotes as it is. Yes, kind of filtering your search. Exactly. Right now, if you see the results again, it has decreased from 800 to 593. Can you guys see this? What this means is, if I go ahead and like open one of these results in a new tab, can you see this term in the URL here of the page? It says payment gateways in India. Can you guys see this? Let me know in the chat box if you guys are following what I'm saying. Awesome. So what this means is 600 to 800 people have written an article on payment gateways in India, and they've actually optimized the article by putting it in the title, by putting it in the URL and all of that, right? So here the competition is very less. It is always good to like go behind keywords which has very little competition when you're starting out. So this is an indirect way on how you can check your competitor metrics, right? How good is the competition? And the other way is by checking the KD here by Ahrefs or any other keyword research tool. And like I said before, if you do not have the paid plan of Ahrefs, what you can do is just type in Ahrefs keyword generator in the Google search and you will find this first link. Tanima is asking how much competition you say is less or more. This obviously depends on the niche that you're writing your article on, Tanima. For each and everything, if the search volume is more, your niche, your keywords might not have enough volume. Some niches have good volume, but nobody is like writing articles on it. So it always depends. So don't worry too much about the competitions, because at the end of the day, you have to write articles on all the topics in your niche, right? That is how you capitalize it. And that is how you like become a category leader in your niche. So what you do is first make a list of topics, do keyword research for them. And out of all these keywords, whichever has the less competition, go behind it. That's all. So some niches will definitely have more competition for all the keywords. In that case, just choose the one that has less competition and just go behind it. Quora also is a very good place in order to find your user problems, Jayant. That is a very good place. And if your topic is very famous, right, you can also use the Wikipedia page. Just go to Wikipedia, put in your seed keyword, and there at the bottom, they have written a ton of things, right? That will give you an idea of what kind of keywords that your user is looking for. So in case you don't have the premium version of Ahrefs, just go into Google and type Ahrefs keyword generator and you'll find this tool. What this tool does is it gives you volume, but it doesn't give you enough suggestions as the paid tool gives. Obviously you're paying for the paid tool, which is why it is giving more suggestion, but this free tool doesn't give you enough suggestions. In that case, you can use a tool called as keywordtool.io. I will just put this in the chat box. What you go ahead and do here is type in your seed keyword again and then click on search. So what this tool does is it kind of gives you all the suggestions, if you can see, right? But it doesn't give you all of these metrics, which is search volume, their trend, their CPC, their competitions. So a smart way to do keyword research with these two tools is put your seed keyword here, pick up all the relevant suggestions that you feel is relevant for your content or your topic, and put them back into your keywords generator tool. And that will give you volume. So that is a trick if you do not want to like go ahead and use the paid tool, which is very expensive, or else you can look for some group buying websites which has Ahrefs and all of that. Ankit, I am not very sure about it. We will check that with the team and I'll let you know. So guys, are you clear till now? If you guys have understood what I've been telling for the last few minutes, just type in clear in the chat box. So Pradeep is asking, is Ahrefs or Ubersuggest? What out of this is a better tool? Definitely Ahrefs, because it has been there in the industry for a very long time, and the way they understand keyword volume and all of that is to a better extent than Ubersuggest can do it. So Ubersuggest, from my experience, I guess I've done close to like 500 to 600 keyword researches till date. So out of my experience, if I can say that Ubersuggest is not very accurate, but again, all of this keyword research tool, right? Even Ahrefs is not very accurate when compared to what exactly might be the volume in the search engines, right? This is just to give an idea that there is a demand out there. And only if there is demand, you should be writing and content around it. Otherwise, if you write on topics that do not have any volume, which means that people are not searching for it, then there is no point. Nobody's going to read your content. So SEO is one of the ways on how you can like fulfill the demand that is already out there. Karthik, as of now, you cannot do it. You can just select countries in the keyword research tools. But what you can try doing is you can add in like your state word in your keyword itself and then see if it has volume. So Divya is asking, is it a good idea to go with 10 reasons to do something or directly go for reasons to do something? See, whatever has less volume and less competition, whichever has more volume and less competition, sorry. If 10 reasons to do something has like more volume and less competitions, go ahead with it. Just see the difference. You have to strike a balance between the volume and your competition, right? Prasad, if you're not getting, sometimes what happens is a lot of niches will not have enough keywords that has enough volume. In that case, what you should be going is go one step backward, go a little broad, right? Say, for example, your keyword is benefits of cycling for kids. This might not have enough volume at all. So what you should be doing is just talk about the benefits of cycling. And then in your article, also put in a section which talks about benefits for cycling for kids. Does that make sense? You have to go one step backward and a little broad and find such keywords and start capitalizing on it if your keyword doesn't have enough volume. KD's competition, yes, Ankit. Is it safe? Savita is asking, is it safe to use brand name in the domain name? No, definitely not. There might be a copyright strike on your domain. Do not use popular brand names in your domain name at all. That is definitely not recommended, because this is going to be an asset in the future. You're going to build your entire business. Your blog is your business, right? You're going to build your entire business on your domain name. In that case, you shouldn't be taking that risk at all. We'll talk about all of the other things in the next session, guys. I do not want to talk about the other things as of now, because I want you to understand the things that has been taught in these sessions very clearly, and then we'll go ahead and check what the other things are, right? So that is pretty much it for this session. So we'll open up the Q&A right now, and then if you have any questions regarding these sessions, regarding the things that has been taught in this session, please ask it. And because the rest of the things are going to be covered again in the future sessions, so it will become very repetitive if I explain the things that are not here right now. So does that make sense, guys? Let me know in the chat box. Also, we have a Q&A tab here at the bottom. Please use that for asking questions so that I can keep a track on your questions. Otherwise, the chat box runs real quick. It keeps rolling and I cannot read your questions. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and take all the questions from the Q&A tab. Please use the Q&A tab. Yes, Prashant, the session is getting recorded and the recording of the session will be shared. Don't worry about it. Thanks, Gaurav. What are the most important metrics to look after volume and KD, or anything as well? Rishabh, as I said, right, you can go ahead and do 2 more layers of competitor research, which is by doing in title. These are called as site operators. So see how many people have used this keyword in their title and in their URL. That kind of gives you an idea. That kind of gives you a better number in your head. So that's all you should be looking for before writing content or before choosing your keyword. So do we add all of these keywords in our content on the website or blog? It depends, Rashmi. If you want to try to optimize your website for a particular keyword, or if you are giving informational kind of keywords, it should obviously go in the blog, right? But this is the general approach that you take towards a website or any blog for that matter. If you don't use keyword in URL, how it will affect SEO? Milind, it is recommended that you use the keyword in the URL because it makes more sense for the search engine also to pick up, to understand what your article is about, which is why it is recommended, but it is definitely not a rule. But it definitely gives you an edge over people who have not used it in the URL. What is the price for Ahrefs full version? I guess the basic plan starts from $99 per month. It's on the higher side, but to get started, definitely do not go with the Ahrefs paid tool if you don't have the budget. You can go with the free Ahrefs tool that I spoke about. It is called as keywords generator. Just put it in the Google search, you will get it. And then use keywordtool.io to find suggestions. And then volume, you can find it with Ahrefs free tool. Gaurav, in that case, what you can do is just experiment all of these things on this domain name that you've already bought. What you can do is after your assignment or your internship program has ended, right, go ahead and create a fresh blog. I do not want you to take risk using some brand names in the domain name. So my blog is about suggesting non-Telugu films for Telugu audience. So how to know what Telugu people are searching for? I cannot include a Telugu word here as my title will be Best Tamil Films. So this is an extreme layer of targeting that you're adding in, Karthik. This might not work for SEO. You can try this with Google ads or Facebook ads and all of that, but it might not work for SEO. So you should be targeting directly Best Tamil Films in 2020, and you should be attracting all kind of audience who are interested in it. KD means keyword difficulty. Ajay, I cannot promise you that. We'll talk to the team and we'll talk to Deepak and let you know about it. How is the URL generated? Do we optimize it or is it done by the system by default? Savita, there is an option to change the URL in your WordPress dashboard. So further in your internship program, you're going to like create content. So while you create content, when you publish, right, there will be a URL that is generated, but you can always go ahead and edit it. Yes, Jayant, you can find competitors' keywords through Ahrefs as well, but that is using the pay tool, which is why I do not want to show it right now. How to do SEO for a personal blog? What are you going to cover in your personal blog, right, Prasad? Those are the set of topics, and from there you should be starting your keyword research journey. Divya is saying, I'm planning to start another blog about movies and series. Can I use the pictures of the characters? Will it face copyright issues? Make sure you're using royalty-free images that doesn't have copyright issues. Do not pick them up directly from like big websites and use it. And even if you're using, make sure you give them credits. So Smita is asking, what is LSI keyword? So LSI means latent semantic indexing, Smita. So basically, all of these kinds of keywords are synonyms to your primary keyword. And there are also other kind of keywords which can increase the context of your content, right? You watch the recording, I've given some examples. So if you're talking about preparing cold coffee, right, then you start including keywords like coffee beans, um, cold coffee filter, water, ice, and all of this. Ankit, if it is a business website, I would highly recommend you create a separate blog page and start writing content there, so that it doesn't affect your main website. Yes, Avni, you can optimize the URL for every blog that you're writing. Is article length important in search ranking? See, again, when you're saying article length, right, there is no ideal article length for anybody. Google has not given you any guidelines saying that you have to write 2000 word article or 1000 word article, right? Think from the user's perspective. Are you going to solve all of their problems with a 1000 word article, or are you going to like solve all of their problems with a 3000 word article? Whatever your answer is, choose that article length. There is no defined article length as such. Yes, Savita, permalinks is exactly the same as URLs. Can we change the domain name of our existing websites? You definitely have to buy a new domain name. You can't replace it. Can we convert our blog site to business website? Yes, definitely you can. You just have to add more pages there. WordPress allows you to do that. Once the website is ranking properly and we are getting enough traffic, can it go on auto blogging? I wouldn't suggest you do that, because at the end of the day, your content has to have great quality. Only then it will remain in the search engines. Right? With that, I guess we will close this session. If you like this session and if you like the approach that I told you on how you can like kind of approach a SEO project, let me know in the chat box if it was good, or if you have any feedback, let me know in the chat box real quick. You will get the recording, so you guys can take your time and watch it in a lower speed if you wish to. Awesome, guys. Thanks for the feedback. Got a lot of clarity. You explained it well. I'm not lying to you. This is exactly the same approach that we take at Digital Deepak and Pixel Track. If you follow the same framework, right, this has worked for us multiple times, which is why we are recommending it to you guys. So take the same approach. Doesn't matter what your blog is about or what niche it belongs to, or if it is an e-commerce website and all of that. It's the same thing, but going forward, we'll cover how to tweak or how to add more layers of SEO optimizations. But this is the foundation to every SEO projects out there. Right. So what I'll go ahead and do is 1 minute. Give me 1 minute, guys. You guys can keep posting your questions in the Q&A tab and I'll pick them up in like 2 minutes. I'll try and answer most of your questions. Okay, awesome. I've got a few more questions here. Yes, Savita, it is good to have a separate blog section in your business website. Any ebooks, anything specific that you're asking, Prasad? Ebooks for what? SEO in general, you can find content, enough content from follow Neil Patel, follow Brian Dean, or follow the Moz blog. Search Engine Journal is one of the best blogs out there. Search Engine Land is one of the best blogs. It's in the same website, Ankit, but it is in a different directory. Say your website, domainname.com/blog, and then the permalink of your blog or your article. Definitely, Tanima, write it on a different section. Do not include it in your main website. Create a separate page for it, is what I'm trying to tell. Yes, Ajay Kumar, definitely. You're absolutely right. Cover such informational topics first, and then you can talk about the exact solutions that you're trying to offer. Savita, I will share the slide deck that I used today. Rest of the things are screen sharing. So perfect, guys. So I would just need one help from you guys. I would want you guys to like share your feedback in this Facebook post so that I can go back and read about it, and from the next sessions I can take a feedback and improve myself. If you like the session, please let me know in the Facebook post. I've shared the link in the chat box. I'd be more than happy to hear what your feedback is for the first VIP call. So this is going to be a series of sessions, right? You have like 1 year of DMC. So definitely there is a ton of content that has to be covered. So we'll go step by step, which is why I didn't want to cover too many things, because for a lot of you people who are new here, it might become overwhelming. I am pasting the link in the chat box again. Please go to the Facebook post and please share your learnings, guys. For now, your job is only to understand the foundation of how SEO works and how you have to approach any SEO project. And later on in the future sessions, we will go ahead and see how you can write content, how to optimize it for on-page SEO, how to build backlinks and all of that. Images from Canva Pro can be used. Divya, I would be most probably taking sessions on every Monday at the same time. We haven't decided on it yet 100%, but 90% I'll be taking my sessions on Monday. So you can keep your questions ready and then we can take it up in the next class as well. For you guys, yes, it is my first class, but I've taken a good number of sessions for batch 1, batch 2 and batch 3. Pradeep will share that. Rohit Thakur is asking, what is my expertise? I had performance marketing for Pixel Track and Digital Deepak. So whatever falls under performance marketing, I deal with mostly with numbers, paid ads, content marketing, SEO, marketing automation, funnels, and all of that. So we have Deepak joining us. Nazim will make sure that it doesn't conflict between the other sessions that we will be doing. Yes, Rashmi, we are going to create a timeline and we will share it with you on how to get copywriters. You can probably check out the Facebook groups. There are a ton of content writers out there and they can write content for you. Thanks, Prashant. Thank you, Prasad. Savita, you can note down your questions and we can take it up in the next session. Also, you can mail me at shreyas@pixeltrack.com. Deepak, do you want to turn on your video and share a few words? We are pretty much done with the session.
I hope audio is okay.
Yeah, we can listen to you.
How was the first session, guys? How was the presentation from Shreyas? You can let me know in the chat box. I hope you have started getting value from the club. Fantastic. I see a lot of positive feedback. And now this is just going to be exclusive for the club members. So I hope you liked it, and obviously we will keep improving it over time. We are just getting started with it. I'm glad to see 54 members live.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot, Shreyas.
Thank you, Deepak. Thank you for the opportunity. And the audience here is awesome. They're all very energetic. They're very engaging.
Great. Club members.
Club members.
Fantastic.
Okay. Awesome, guys. If you have any other feedback, please let me know in the Facebook post. And we will close this session, and I will see you next week with more content and with more value. Thank you and good night.